Hi. So, um, it's funny because I feel like, oh, my name is Erin, welcome, whatever. But I really am making this for everybody who knows me already. If you do stumble upon this, or if you're new to the studio and you get this, hi, I'm Erin. I am not an astrologer. I'm not. I use astrology as a tool for self inquiry. I use the archetypes of the planets and kind of the stories and the questions to reflect on my own life. And I personally am the type that I continually baseline um, just what am I struggling with, um, and what are the underlying beliefs that are causing that struggle, and then is there something ancient, or is there something universal, or is there some kind of encompassing truth that can relieve that suffering. That's like how I operate. And it is October 1st of 2024, and this is the first week of a Pluto reflection. This is something I was going to do on my own to look back from 2008 to now, before Pluto moves into Aquarius, to look at my life and see what lesson or truth was unearthed in my life. And because I was going to do this, and I think it is kind of fun, honestly, when I look at my life in 2008, if I were to have introduced myself to you, my name, my job, like my family, my home life, where I lived, my worldview, like I was a completely different structure. Like that I was in a completely different container. Like who I was in the world, I'm going to say like was webbed in a way. And over the past 15 years, I've really like broken out of all of that. And what Pluto is about is that transformation, power dynamics, control, structures, things that we're looking at with Pluto having been in Capricorn, is really about, what has had to um, die, what has had to go away for there to be rebirth. So I have notes here. So I'm going to just make this short and sweet and welcome you to reflect on the past 15 years with me over the next 5 weeks. So Pluto takes about 250 years to complete a full cycle through all of the houses of the zodiac. It means it moves very slowly. And so Pluto being in a particular house of the zodiac marks an era, marks maybe even a generation of people. Capricorn is an earth sign, and it is structure, ambition, authority, systems, and stability. So when you have Pluto, this transformer, this, kind of archetypal symbol of power and control in the subconscious, moving through this earth sign of structure, ambition, authority, systems, and stability, you're basically seeing, and this is just my own, again, I'm not an astrologer, but it's kind of like, I think about like earth being slowly eroded from the inside out. Like that there's something kind of inside the edge of a mountain just kind of working its way, and you can't really see it, and then eventually with enough time the hillside's kind of tumbled out. It's changed shape. And so depending on A, what's meaningful for you, or B, what house Capricorn is in your chart, where in your life that transformation has shown up is going to be different. And it's going to be interesting. So, for our first week, I'm going to offer you some initial reflection on Pluto's influence in your life. And we're going to just hit on some key questions that kind of infuse Pluto, this transformer, Capricorn, this stability and structure, and some of the main kind of themes that we might have seen. So, light a candle, pause me, get a journal out, and I'll ask the question, and then you can pause it, reflect, replay it, and then I'll also, I might link to it. I don't know if I'll put it in the comments, honestly. Okay. This will be fun. Think back to 2008. Think back to 2008, when Pluto first entered Capricorn. What significant changes have you noticed in your life since then? Who's died? Who's been born? What changes have you made in your personal disciplines? Are you sober now? Do you have a drinking problem now? Not funny, but you get it. How have your perspectives on power, control, and authority shifted? How have your perspectives on power, control, and authority shifted? And maybe even a sentence like, I used to see power in this. Or something that helps you identify where you've put power, who has had power over you, over your thinking, over your habits. Moving on. What patterns or structures in your life have been slowly breaking down or transforming over the past decade? What patterns in your life have been slowly breaking down or transforming over the past decade? Like, I know where Capricorn is in my chart, and so I know what I'm kind of where. And when I think about that question, I can just feel tingling, like all right here, which is all my solar plexus, all of this energy center. And man, was I giving away a lot of personal power over the past 15 years that I've slowly reclaimed in my life. Where in your life have you experienced a loss of control that forced you to rebuild or transform? How have you handled those moments? Next, reflect on a time when you reclaimed your personal power. What did that look like? And what internal or external shifts made it possible? I shared last night in our group that I think my key moment of reclaiming power was when I wrote my letter of resignation, and I was just streaming tears writing it. And when I really reflect on what made that possible, it was that I, on my day off, emailed my boss something I thought was incredibly helpful. And the response that I got was so rude and so inconsiderate and so, you can leave this to me, you stay out of it, that what I thought was part of my job, power that I had been assigned, right, if you want to look at it that way, and he just went, no, power is mine, you don't get to talk here. And that's when I said, no. No way. No way. And actually, I don't even think I messaged on my day off. I think he responded to me via a text. It got my attention on my day off, responding to something I did the day before I had signed off for time off. Poor form. Disrespectful. I have power. I'm a powerful. We are all powerful people. Every single one of us has a purpose in our life, and whether that shows up in your identity or your career or your family or the way that you influence the world, small communities to large, every single person on this planet was born with personal power. And for anybody to take that away from you, for any belief or structure to take that away from you, like, that's what we're looking for. Where did you reclaim that? And if you haven't reclaimed it yet, before Pluto moves on to Aquarius, let's figure that out and reclaim it and commission it. All right, moving on. What responsibilities have you taken or released over the past 15 years? What responsibilities have you taken on or released over the past 15 years? And how has your relationship with duty or long-term goals changed? I am thinking about people who take on emotional labor when I read this. I'm thinking about the person who feels responsible for what everybody eats every day, who feels responsible for everybody's laundry. Like, where is that in your body? And is there power to reclaim there? Moving on. How do you want to be remembered? What a powerful question. What legacy or long-lasting impact are you working toward building, either personally or professionally? Remember, you don't, like, legacy isn't necessarily about, like, thousands and thousands of people remembering you. It's about the people that you impacted remembering you. And that could be one person. Capricorn represents discipline, structure, and long-term success. How have these themes of discipline, structure, and long-term success shown up in your life recently? In what areas have you been asked to exercise patience and perseverance? Where have you been resisting necessary changes in your life? How might embracing discipline or structure in that area help you grow? What changes have you noticed in the world since 2008? And next week we'll go through a little timeline. How have societal structures or systems of power transformed in that time? How have these global shifts affected you personally? And lastly, how do you feel about the current structures of power and authority in your community or workplace? Where do you see the need for transformation, and how might you contribute to that change? So, as we go forth these next 5 weeks, I encourage you just to be really open-minded. There's no right way to do this. We're just looking at our own lives, our own relationship with power, our own relationship with control, and who and what we allow to control our thinking and our actions and our feelings. Guys, I have lived with incredible amounts of emotional pain, all because where I've assigned power and where I've assigned my own ability to control and what I think I should be able to control. And these things, as I've been working through them over the past couple of years and really being honest with myself and really getting down to, like, the truth that holds all truth, because what's true for me will not be the same as what's true for everybody else. And so there has to be a bigger container for truth, and that bigger container for truth has to be big enough to hold the hardest truths the good and the bad, the dark and the light. That's the teaching. And so when we look honestly at the entire picture of what's really going on, and we give other people space to be human, and we give other people space to live out their truth, even if that truth sucks for us, knowing we don't have to let it suck for us. Wait, hold on. Even if that truth sucks for us, we don't have to let that truth suck from us. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. If we can get to the heart of that and we can apply that lesson, we are on the track to feeling our own power align with the values that have been a part of who we are and how we've been forever and ever and ever. Like, in you is a seed that has rooted early, like the earliest years, moments of your life started roots from just who you are, like how you are designed, like how you, but without the beliefs and without the shaping of your life and without the experience that you've had, you were an essence. You were characteristics and you were qualities before they were shaped and formed by the world. And those started to root before everything else. And so that earliest seed of who you are and those earliest roots are now the deepest and the biggest roots. So as you go through this practice of understanding that way you navigate the world with what feels like a yes and what feels like a no, based on what feels aligned to those deep roots. That's what we're trying to get to. And by understanding where we've been giving away power, we'll understand where we've been saying yes when we really mean no, and no when we really mean yes. Because if you're saying yes and it feels like a no, and if you're saying no when it feels like a yes, then you are living out of an expectation that a certain way to be is the right way, even though it's not what you feel. And that is going to put you in circles and cycles and patterns. And the past 15 years, what we're being told here, the story that we're being invited to inquire about is past 15 years, you've been living in that cycle. You've been living in it. You've been saying yes when you mean no, and you've been saying no when it means yes. Or maybe you've started to not do that. You know, maybe your Pluto and Capricorn story is like, wow, my life has changed because I did stop doing that. Maybe it was like a hard hit. But we got to stop the cycles because we're entering into a new age. The exact date is November 16th. Pluto moves into Aquarius, and from that day forward, we are committing to applying the lesson we've been learning. All right. Thanks for doing this with me. It'll be fun. Goodbye.